Enough is enough! I have had it!
Why so serious?
And we hold the world ransom for
Wayne Gandy.
Excuse me while I whip this out.
Show me.
Broadcasting live from the AM 1100 Sports Joc Studios, Atlanta, Georgia.
Welcome to Atlanta.
This is the Sports Joc Show with Wayne Gandy.
You may fill me up, yeah. Can you fill me up, yeah? You won't break me down. I've come too far, yeah. I've come too far, yeah. To just throw in the towel. It's a new day, I'ma do it. Yeah, I'm gonna go all the way. You may fill me up.
Welcome. I'm back. Yes, I am. I'm back. We live. It's Tuesday. We ready to go. We got mason jars of liquor in here. I don't know where Chinway found that cup with her initial on it, but just takes me back to Swing Low, Sweet Chariot. But good morning to you. We are happy to be here, excited. I'm going to start off with this, and we're going to talk about this a little later. We got NBA Finals last night. We also going to talk a little O.J. Simpson. LeBron, as far as taking on Draymond in the ring. Can you picture that? Stanford and that situation, a little update on the Orlando shooting and much more. Father's Day is on the horizon. Yay! Did you hear that excitement about that new pair of socks? Or that new tie. Did you hear it in my voice? Yay! All fathers are like, right. But Father's Day is almost here. And we are gonna, you don't see no commercials. Is it me? Is it me? Because, Jared always wants me to go out on a rant. But, have you seen any commercials? When? I didn't see any commercial. I haven't seen one commercial. I watched the whole NBA game last night. I didn't see nothing about new Jag. Get it for your dad. I didn't see any of that. It's bait and tackle. Get your dad a new hook for his fishing rod. Dads can't get any love, but they can be dragged into court if they late with those payments. But Father's Day is here. We will talk about that, about these outstanding dads that are in this room. Me and Big Kenny, we were going to pat ourselves on our backs all day long, all week. We're going to do like women do and just celebrate something for a month. You know how women celebrate anything they have for, when was your birthday? Well, it was March 27th. What? You're still on your birthday 3 weeks later. So we will talk about that and much more. And I'm going to tell you now, anybody that knows me, I'm not having any more LeBron James debates. I don't want to hear that. I'm not having any more of those debates. You have who you like. I have who I like. I'm not having any more of that. Well, LeBron can't do this. LeBron can't do that. Whatever. You're making me miss something special. You're the same kind of people that if Ali was here now, you'd be telling me about Rocky Marciano. You'd be just telling me about Rocky, and I can't even enjoy Ali, worried about you trying to make the comparison. But we're not going to talk to me. You can talk to anybody else, but I'm not going to hold that court anymore in that debate. But let me bring my co-host on today, the Red Scarlet from Britain, by way of downtown Atlanta. Chinway is in the building. Good morning to you, Chinway.
Hello. How are you today?
I'm good. How often do you have to wash your pillowcases? With that red hair?
My hair does not fall out or the dye does not run, actually. But I have
your boyfriend ain't doing his right thing then. I'm just saying. Big Kenny, you can get something on the pillowcase, can't you?
There they go.
The funny man himself, Chicago's finest, 3 doors down from the Vice Lord's first meeting.
I skipped it. I was late. Good morning, Sports Joc. Good morning, Chinway. She said the dye doesn't run.
She says her dye doesn't run.
But this is the day of advanced technology and chemical compounds where maybe you could do a lot of sweating and your dye in your hair won't run.
Is that sweat-proof dye?
I'm not sure yet. I actually haven't worked out in a couple of weeks. I'm a little ashamed.
Is it sweat-proof dye, or do you just have a sweat-proof boyfriend?
I have sweat-proof weave. How about that?
Oh, okay. Some of that good stuff, that Holly Berry.
It's better than Halle Berry.
That Janet Jackson?
Because you get that Halle
Maybe
Berry
Janet
and that dye in her hair drive you crazy.
Is that how y'all go in there and ask for it? Like, can I get that Janet Jackson or that Beyonce? Kind of how Big Kenny goes to the dispensary?
I mean, you don't say it, but you might have a picture of that person and say, okay, this is kind of what I want.
Yeah, because I go in the dispensary and be like, I want that Meta World piece. Let me get that Meta World piece.
Ounce of that Meta World.
Or let me get some of that Russell Westbrook wardrobe, something that'll make me dress like Russell Westbrook, so they know they got to go to the back for that
So,
stuff.
Chinwei, take us through the process of going to get us 21 inches of hair at the weave shop. How does that work?
Ooh,
You get in your
okay.
car, you drive down, you park, and then
You walk through the door and you hear, "Welcome, Beauty Supply Store. How you doing?"
Actually, no.
Welcome, Beauty Supply. You come here, you buy now.
No, you order hair. I ordered it, so it came to me, and then I went.
Hold on. What do you mean you ordered it?
You order it from an online supplier, and they
Oh,
send
they
it.
sell
to
it.
you.
And they say, "Oh, yeah, 21 inch. You go to Atlanta. We ship now. We ship today."
So you can order weave now?
Yes, of course.
You don't want to touch it or nothing? I mean,
you watch. Well, me, I'm a huge review watcher, so I'll get on YouTube for hours and do my research on a particular hair before I actually purchase it. Or research on anything, really, before I purchase it.
So now, is that
online.
Indian? Is that Apache?
Well,
what kind is that?
I mean, it's all the same, honestly. I think it's Brazilian wavy or something, but I heard that doesn't really mean anything.
Brazilian wavy?
Yes.
That's the name of your brand?
No, that's the type of hair.
Type of hair.
Right.
Wavy, that means that a criminal cut it off some unsuspecting Brazilian girl and she waved at it as it ran up the street.
And that's your favorite brand? How many miles can you get out of that?
Well, we'll see. I'm not sure, but if you take good care of it and you wash it, every couple of weeks, then it could run you 6 months to a year.
Did it come red? Or
No, it was black actually. So I took it to the salon, and my lady, she colored it.
Before she put it in?
Right, and then she colored the top of my hair, and washed it, and she braided it down. And she put a net. She sewed a net down on top of my head to protect my hair from the weave. And then she sewed the weave onto the net.
Now, I always wonder...
You do too much. You should just let me say you hair here. I sew in for you. I staple to your head. It stay for a long time.
Well, this is the thing that always confuses me. You protect your hair, but you never plan on wearing your hair.
No, I haven't had weave in probably over a year, actually.
Okay.
So I've been wearing my hair, and I'm just... I needed a little break because it's a lot of work.
And
to do your hair.
how long is your hair? Just real quick.
Well, I
you'll
just
tie
cut it
this.
all off, so it's like a little short.
Taking care of your own hair is a lot of work, but going online and ordering
No!
hair and having
Getting
it
up-
shipped
getting
and then
up and
going
doing
to
your
a beauty
hair.
supply place and getting the dye and then going into a beautician.
Getting
and
up
having-
and doing your hair is a lot of work.
Now, can you tell, like when Serena Williams,
Yes.
can you tell what kind of hair she's rocking?
I can tell.
No, not necessarily like if it's Brazilian or Indian or anything like that, but it might be a tight curl or a deep wave or straight. It just depends.
The afro. Sometimes she rocked the afro puff.
Or an afro puff.
The Afro puff.
Right.
Okay.
It just
like the
depends.
afro puff.
I never knew, you have shocked me. I knew people order a lot of things, but I thought hair was something you wanted to go, like the Chris Rock. Remember the movie he made about the hair? And I thought you wanted to go in there and they pull it out the bag and you feel
Now
it.
there are some
and-
boutiques where you can order online or actually go to the boutique and pick out the hair and feel it and see the different lengths.
Is it like a Walmart you can order online but pick it up at the beauty supply store?
No, I don't know. I don't pick up my weave from the beauty supply
We
store.
need
I just
to-
want to put that as a disclaimer. It's frowned upon to get your weave from the beauty supply store these
Why
days.
frowned upon? We do good. We got good hair here.
So now how much is that right there without the coloring?
I only pay $150 for it, which is a great deal, but it can run you up to $400.
And that's before coloring
That's before coloring.
and the net.
Yes.
and the sew-in.
And that was $250 to do all of that, to get it colored and installed.
So $250 plus the hair, $400.
Yes.
Did you hear that?
You got robbed. I spray paint your hair for $7. You give me other $393.
$400 is what you're saying.
Yes.
And do you tip? Is there a tip in there?
No, she didn't know. I usually tip if I'm just getting my hair done, but no, not for this.
What's the difference? You had the color and sew and all that.
Right, and she got $250.
$250.
That's a lot of money.
Yeah, I would imagine. So are you ever tempted just to go to Target and go down and get one of them little boxes for $8.99 and color your own hair?
Oh, I always color. I color the top of my hair. I had to adjust the color. Okay. I used to always color my hair in high school, so I'm not scared of it.
$400. I owe my barber an apology because he was like $20, and I was like, shh.
That's what I'm like. When dudes
this
playing.
dude with $20. I suppose you want a tip too, right? And he was looking at me like, bruh, that's the whatever.
Yeah, that's like
take this money.
$400 is like half a year for a man, like getting a haircut every week. So I mean, you know.
You guys got it easy.
No, you making it hard. we don't have it easy. You just made a whole process. You waiting for UPS, and then you're gonna go take it and get it colored and laid and then sewed.
Where do they ship it from?
Well, this hair came from China.
Oh, well, maybe I can get some extra stuff with the hair. Like, man, we have your hair and stuff, and they give you the wink.
Well, thank you for helping us understand the $400 hair process.
I'm still confused. This didn't help me at all.
And why red? Before we go to break, why red?
I've never had red before. I've had brown, blonde, other shades of brown, but I've never had red before.
You look like Rihanna now. You look famous. I make you famous for cheese.
Thank you.
Well, I've been rocking this $20 do for 35 years, and I'm going to rock it to the grave. We'll be back. More of the Sports Joc Show, 888-926-7562 or 404-603-8770. Hit us up.
Close your eyes.
Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc, Wayne Gandy. Thank you for that, Mike. That memory right there. Just perfection of an album. Michael Jackson, Never Really Gone, Just Not Here. Last night. Never gone, just not here.
It's a great way to explain it to a 7-year-old. He's never really gone. He's just not here.
Just not here. But out in Oakland last night, great game. The Cavs invading Oracle Arena to take on Golden State, Game 5. I left here knowing that the Cavs would win this game. I felt like not just because Draymond Green was out, but I felt like they would step up. They seemed to play their best. When people call them out, they're more likely to lose the next game. But if you ever watch this team, when people call them out, they play at a high level on both ends of the court. LeBron James, 41 points. Kyrie Irving, 41 points. I even have one of my boys hit me up, man, Kyrie going off. And I said, what about LeBron? He doing okay. I said, well, they got the same point total. Yeah, but Kyrie going off. I don't understand. That's why I say I'm not going to argue with people. LeBron James, 41 points, 16 rebounds, 7 assists to go in this game. About 4 steals, 2 blocks. Everything you want in a performance.
And only 3 glasses of wine. Being mean to me.
That's one of the big stories of the game. Everybody's I'm one of those people that understand. I've seen the great ones, Magic Johnson, Michael Jordan. To me, they know they have influence on the referees, and they use it. It's one of those things, just like watching the game and Anderson Varejao flopped and faked and get some calls that really were not there. I think that's what the great ones do. They go over there, agitate the referee, hoping that he might get a call just because he doesn't want the person at that point to who's the best in the league to be in that situation with them because those players do will power. But it was a great game, Big Kenny. Chinway I still am upset that these games don't come on to 9 because they're not over to midnight. Regardless, they add a commercial anytime. You literally can. It'll go to commercial. You can go fix a sandwich, throw a load of clothes in the washer, and they will just be getting back from commercial when you get back. That's how long these commercial breaks are. But Draymond Green was in attendance of the game. No, he wasn't playing. They got this wrong picture up. He was at the game, attending the game in the stands, just like he was in a booth in the picture I saw. Big Kenny, you were talking about a little minute ago, was Draymond was asked to throw out the first pitch for Oakland, and he declined.
Yeah, he said that he was going to the Oakland A's game because he was suspended from game number 5, and because he was suspended, he couldn't come into the Oracle Arena. But the Oakland Athletics, which is their Major League Baseball team, play in a stadium adjacent to Oracle Arena, which has a tunnel that leads between the two. And he went to that game. The Oakland Athletics asked him to throw out the first pitch, and he declined, saying that he would be at the game, but he wanted to be low-key. He didn't want to be a spectacle. Right. And it was decided that had the Warriors won last night, he would have been allowed to celebrate with them in Oracle Arena, but he just couldn't be there for the game. You said you saw him at the actual...
Well, I saw a figment of, I believe he was there. I believe that, I don't believe the NBA in any of this stuff. I believe that they are controlling the television. I think TV used to be controlled by the powers that be, and now the sports franchises actually get to dictate what is going on in a certain arena, and easily the owner could have had him up in his box, snuck him in, just like you said. Who has an underground tunnel between the basketball stadium? And where are y'all evacuating to? What's going on in Oakland that you need to dig tunnels?
Well, it is Oakland. You never know. you never know what. Hey, what's going on over there, right there, homie?
In an earthquake city.
Do you think he paid the fine, or do you think no? Right.
Well, the fine comes out your check.
Okay.
It's not. You don't write a check to them. They just deduct it. You see it on your stub deduction, NFL fine, NBA fine, that kind of thing. But the Warriors now going back to Cleveland on Thursday to play LeBron in Game 6. I'm looking forward to be pushed to a Game 7 just for the excitement of it, which would be on Sunday. But LeBron and the guys showed out, and really with Steph Curry having 25, Klay Thompson scoring 37, so it wasn't one of those games where those two stars didn't play well. Kyrie and LeBron just seemed to be willing themselves. Really I think Kevin Love might have had 4 points. And I like that. I've been saying that a while now. LeBron, and however they attack the court, they always seem to be trying to get Kevin Love going first. And I think that hurts LeBron and Kyrie, because I feel like it just comes in the game. Go get yours. And Kevin Love has to figure out how to play around you. Don't set up plays trying to get him off to make sure he's okay, slowing your game down.
Do you think that it's going to be a possibility of a Game 7 win? Last night, Draymond Green was out. Last night, Kyrie Irving played better than I think he's ever played in his life, and they still only won by 13 points. So and LeBron scored 41 as well. Now, I don't know what his game average is, but I don't imagine that it's anywhere close to 41 points.
No, it's around, I want to say, about 27, 28 points.
So he and Kyrie both bought their A-plus games, and they still only won by 13 points. Now, that seems like a deficit that Golden State can close in really fast with a Draymond Green back in the lineup.
Well, only reason I give Cleveland is they're going home. They're going back to Cleveland to play a Game 6, do or die, and you can't ask for a better situation than being at home to try to win a Game 6 against a team that in certain games you look inferior, but in the games that you won, you did look like you belonged on the court with them. Last night, the NBA gave a tribute before the national anthem, Grant Hill, which I didn't understand why Grant Hill was doing. I know
'Cause he
Grant
was
Hill
from-
played from
He was
Orlando.
from Orlando.
Yeah, I know that, but
That was the most. That's the best they could piece together with the time they were afforded
but the mayor of
to come all the way
can't
to
come Oakland.
to Oakland.
No, I'm just saying the city. Shouldn't it be from them to Orlando, not a person from Orlando to Orlando?
Well, you know, the NBA is all about marketing, so
Right.
they want to keep the focus on the NBA. So to throw a mayor in there isn't really NBA. It's at an
But that
NBA
looks
game.
even better.
a mayor, or even
Actually.
even an ex Golden State player, Chris Mullins. Why is it
He
Grant
was
Hill?
drunk.
No, but think about it. Grant Hill, who's never played for your organization, is sending condolences to Orlando in representing your city. I just would have picked somebody that has something to do with
Just surround
Oakland.
them.
E40 could have got up there.
And then it would have been all pip combobulated. He would have got up there and said, "On the Farilla, we want to say a very sincere apologies to everybody that got capped and dapped on down in Orlando. Everybody was stretched out and metched out. They had to go to the hospital for shit. They were on the reserve injured list.
What was his song? No?
No,
Yes? Or,
No.
wasn't it, or something like that?
no,
Nope.
Yeah.
It's just no the whole time? Or
The
was
name
it
of the
that-
song was Choices.
Choices. Well, they made the wrong choice in my eyes. I know Grant Hill, and nothing taken away from him. I just thought that the obvious choice would have been somebody that represented Oakland in that situation to give.
The NBA heard Orlando, Grant Hill was close. And they were like, "Hey, look, we don't have to fly him in." Everybody was like, "Yeah, okay, go ahead."
So they just saw
Grant.
Grant walking in through a tunnel, like, "Hey, Grant, come on over here and say a couple of words."
Yeah, and he was like, "Yeah, okay."
Okay. But we'll come back, talk a little more NBA, talk about the Magic helping out the families and victims with donating blood down in Orlando. Tragedy, as you know, this past weekend. Much more coming up. Sports Joc Show right after this.
Come on, baby.
Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc Wayne Gandy. The Milwaukee Bucks have signed Jason Kidd to an extension of his career, $18 million over 3 years. Jay Kidd, who has done a great job with the Nets, his time there for what he had, and also with Milwaukee. He was a general on the court. I think he is all-time like second, third in assists. Went to a couple of finals with the Nets back in the day with Richard Jefferson and those guys for the Nets. I actually went to one of those games in the championships in the Meadowland, but he has a 3-year extension. We were talking about the Golden State game.
Is Jefferson still playing?
Yes.
He's with Cleveland, isn't he?
He plays for Cleveland. He's on year, I want to say like 14, 15. He was a young kid when Jason Kidd got there.
Okay.
Yeah, Jason Kidd. Who else was on that team? I want to say Kenyon Martin. Was Vince Carter on that team? I think. Or just Richard Jefferson. Who else he was throwing them alley-oops to? I got to remember that team. I'm having Richard Jefferson, Kenyon Martin. I want to say it was Vince Sanity, but we'll have Chinway look that up for us. But Jason Kidd home with the Milwaukee Bucks. Game 6, as we said, will be Thursday night. Draymond Green is supposed to be back in the lineup. As we said, Grant Hill came out and offered condolences to the Orlando people and their families real quick before the game started, before the national anthem. I do know, I read a report that Orlando Magic as a team and an organization was donating blood for the situation. Remember, it was they recounted. It was 49 people who were killed and 53 that was injured, the Magic and that organization. So blood donors are needed all the time, not just then, especially if you live in a place like Atlanta or Chicago. There's always going to be all the shootings that happen around us every day. But yes, the Orlando Magic doing their part. And find out that there was a young lady that used to play. She was a bodyguard. And I don't know how and when all the details was going to come out. Yesterday we spoke that maybe the guy started with the security coming in I know they showed a videotape of one of the young ladies, as we spoke about yesterday, Chinwe, Big Kenny, and I said, I would imagine that with that time of the morning, which means at that time there's a lot of alcohol been consumed. Most cities closed down at that time, about 2 o'clock. She was videotaping, and you could kind of hear the gunshots in the background of what she had videotaped on her phone, and at some point, I guess she got hit by a bullet.
She was Snapchatting, and when you hear the gunshots when you start to hear what you recognize as gunshots, she has sort of a disturbed look on her face as if it was messing up her Snapchat.
Mm-hmm.
Like she didn't really recognize it right off as gunfire. So, like you said, with all the noise and the music and the lowered awareness because of the alcohol, maybe right. She just didn't expect it, but she was, unfortunately.
And it was faint in her video.
Yeah.
You just kind of sounded like a little popping, like somebody might have thrown something on the ground, Chinwe.
They thought it was a part of the song, a lot of people, so they, didn't really pay too much attention to it. And I think a lot of people also don't really know when they hear gunshots. Like if you're in a particular neighborhood, you might know, but I think that if you're not aware, if no one has told you, or if you're just not used to that, then when you hear it, you don't pay attention to it, or you don't immediately think, oh, that's the gunshots.
Right.
And
especially if you've never been around it. Yes.
Right.
And I was going to say, being from Chicago, I can tell the difference between gunshots and fireworks. I can tell you probably what caliber weapon somebody is using because I'm so used to hearing the difference. You know when you hear real gunshots as opposed to fireworks.
Yes, and backfires and things
Right,
like that.
right,
But to a person who's never really heard that, even if you go to a gun range, as you're saying, Big Kenny, based on what a person is shooting, you'll hear some people shooting and it's pop, pop. And you hear somebody shooting, it's like, that sound like somebody died. The sound of that sound like somebody would have died if that hit them with that type of sound, if that's how the bullet is coming out.
Right.
Orlando also had Kimberly Morris. They found out one of the victims, 37 years old. She was the bodyguard I was referring to, graduated from Post University. She was a 2-star athlete there in basketball and in volleyball. So our condolences go out to her family and all the families, as we said yesterday. That is part of the biggest, deadliest mass shooting in our country's history to this point. All kinds of. I watched an interview with some of the Muslim leaders who called for their community to come out, and it was the first time I really was refreshed where their leader was saying it's time for us to come out and paint a different picture. Basically, I'm summing up what he was saying, of our community, that a lot of people are saying they're Muslim and they're not Muslim. But since we're not checking them and they just got on the beanie and all that, walking around, talking about bean pies, and this gentleman is like, so our image of what a Muslim is has been tainted. And
tainted.
And he was saying that it's time for them to come out and help out so people can actually see them and understand that when they're saying, hey, don't hold us accountable in certain actions as a whole, it's going that way because of the image. And he denounced the gentleman who did this, saying that he was not Muslim because that's not what Muslims do.
And they wouldn't have been in the
Islam
clubs,
is not about violence. I think sometimes, and I'm just speaking from my personal point of view, I can imagine that at times here in America, being Muslim sort of feels like being black when you see a black person on television, quote unquote, keeping it real, and you go, oh, he's making all of us look bad. I'm sure that happens with a lot of Muslims because I know Muslim people, and all of the Muslims that I know are nonviolent. They've never preached any kind of violence or radicalism, and when this happens, everybody automatically goes Muslims and not the person who committed the crime. So
It's just easier.
I don't.
Scapegoat.
It's easier when, and I'll say it seems easier when we cross racial lines, because if a white male is a serial killer and he kills 20 people, or when we had Sandtown, when we had Charleston with the shooting at Mother Emanuel, no one said, oh, it's white people again. White people are killing. White people are mass murderers. We need to keep guns out of the hands of white people. We need to ban all white people. They just said this was a tragedy and maybe spoke on gun control. But the minute it is a Middle Eastern looking face, they could be Puerto Rican. We don't know their nationality. The minute they look Middle Eastern, everybody says radical Islamic terrorists.
And that's why I'm alluding to that. I like the part where he said, if we have to come out the shadows. I know that in any industry, your industry, Big Kenny, as a young lady, Chinwe, as me, as an NFL player, there's a lot of things I try to dispel about what an NFL player actually does, because the image that the media that we want to portray, the things that we put in movies, is everybody has a Ferrari and 50 gold chains and stays at the strip club and everybody's at their house doped up. And they keep perpetuating this, even on that new show, Ballers.
Right.
They have that same old tired image, and I'm trying to tell you that's like 2 people on the team. The other 50 people on the team just go home and get their check. There are those personalities, but they have let those type personalities shine way brighter than the rest of the team and the league. So we go to break, come back. O.J. Simpson, yes, you remember him. He's doing a couple of years in prison, but we're going to talk about him when we come back from break. Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc Wayne Gandy. 1994, June of 1994, one of the biggest stories of the last 100 years, especially media-wise. There was nothing covered more than the O.J. Simpson trial, the double murder that O.J., for a lot of people, committed, even though he was acquitted. Y'all see that, right? Man, that's hot fire I'm spitting right there. I just need a beat underneath that. O.J., one of the greatest running backs, Heisman Trophy winner at USC. Now he is incarcerated. If you watch O.J. when he played, because of the storylines of his life after football, you, Big Kenny, Chinwe, almost forget the Juice was the first man to run for 2,000 yards in an NFL season. If you don't think that's something, only 6 men since then have done that. He was a special running back. He was big. He was fast. That's why he was doing those car commercials where he was racing off through the terminal, jumping over bags because he was running late. But if you're looking at his highlights, if you go back, don't get the man that is in trouble with the law or you think killed his wife mistaken with the man who played football. He was definitely deserving of every award in his career. He played for like 10, 11 years. I think he ended his last year or two with the San Francisco 49ers after leaving Buffalo. He's in the Hall of Fame. He was a first ballot Hall of Famer, and he was the Juice. And that generation, he was the guy that people wanted to be when they ran the football. If you're looking at these highlights, they are sick. And this was one thing about running the ball. It ain't a sophisticated thing. It's just about your line blocking and your running back having the ability to make people miss and outrun people. But Big Kenny Chinwe, I think people forget the Juice could do it.
I don't know.
Watching his highlights.
I had no idea.
Look at all the cuts that he's making and how he just slices through that line. He's amazing.
He's slicing through the line.
He's slicing through that defense.
I was just staring at his legs.
these super cuts that he's doing. It's just
And it's
man.
but it's one of those things where he's been covered, Big Kenny, and we're talking about O.J. career was the 70s. It might have fell over to the 80, 81. He's been retired. I mean, he's 60, 70 years old, so he's been retired here, minimum 35 years. But you forget that the Juice was that type of player, one of the best running backs, arguably, that ever played the game collegiately and professionally. It wasn't just some backs are just good in college and fizzle in the pros. Some backs, a la Trent Richardson, forward that got drafted by Cleveland and bounced around, top-notch college back, barely stayed in the league 3 years out the league. And he was the number, I think 2, 3 pick in the draft. And you're saying and couldn't do it on the next level. And you have guys that couldn't do it a lot in college, but exploded, a la Tom Brady. Players like that didn't do much in college, got to the pros and blow up. So everybody doesn't have a good college career and a good pro career. But the Juice was one of those backs that did that.
You know, I think that a lot of times we talk about how his prowess on the field is diminished because of his acts after football. Even before he got in trouble with the law, his being a celebrity in movies, in the face of a marketing campaign with Hertz, sort of made people see him as not the football player. It was O.J. the actor or O.J. the pitch guy. And you missed a lot of what made him O.J., what put him on everybody's radar was being a 2,000-yard in one season running back.
He was the old school Michael Strahan. The same thing that ABC and Fox are grooming Michael Strahan now. Those were the things that O.J. was doing. He was hosting shows. He was having cameos in different movies, and then he was having roles in movies. So he did make people forget, just like someone like a Will Smith. I know that I've talked to teenagers, and they don't remember a guy named No Fresh Prince. They don't remember that Will Smith, that's what he was way before he ever acted. I think O.J., alluding to what you're saying, did the same thing.
Time too. Will don't even remember when he used to flow.
Mark Wahlberg. People forgot that he was in his group. What was his group name? Chinway? No. Don't you touch that computer. Mark Wahlberg.
Backstreet Boys.
I'm gonna give you one more guess.
New Kid on the Block.
You're in the vicinity. You're getting there.
His brother Donnie was in New Kids on the Block.
Really?
Yeah.
For real?
The one that plays on Blue Bloods.
I don't know any other white
You
guy
gotta get
groups.
off. You gotta get off of reality television. You gotta come back to. No, that's your homework
This is
assignment
before
to
my
study
time.
Mark Wahlberg.
All right, I'll write it down.
Not now.
I'm writing it down.
You don't have a pen.
On the computer.
You're typing it down.
There's
You're
no
not- that's
room
not-
for my notebook. I have my notebook in my bag.
in my bog.
In my bag.
But O.J., Stephen A. Smith, the loud mouth, for ESPN, had this to say about Mr. O.J. Simpson.
Not a little bit. I've often said, and there's a lot of people in the black community who disagree with me, but I've often said that if I was on that jury, we'd still be there, because I wouldn't have voted him not guilty. I think he's guilty. I don't give a damn what anybody says. I think that O.J. Simpson killed Ronald Goldman and Nicole Brown Simpson. This man got off with double murder. I believe that the evidence was clear, and I've often been on the record saying that anybody can call me what they want to call me. I have profound respect for the late Johnny Cochran, God rest his soul. But if it might be the cockiest thing that I've ever said. Christopher Darden and Marcia Clark did an absolutely horrendous job as prosecutors. Because if it were me, there's no way in hell Johnny Cochran would have beaten me with that evidence that they had.
That is Stephen A. Smith and his comments for you that were not born at the time. O.J. killed, allegedly, Nicole Simpson and her lover, Ronald Goldman. Reports go from that it was a simple stabbing to one of them almost had their neck completely cut off. O.J. went to trial. It was day-to-day television. I don't know, Big Kenny, Chinway, the evidence in which Stephen A. Smith is referring to that I ever heard that completely convicted O.J. Remember, no eyewitness, no murder weapon. I don't know, Big Kenny.
No DNA.
No actual. So when he says he's for sure, it is totally just based on how you want to view it. But if you're talking about evidence, Big Kenny, if you know some evidence I don't remember, I do know two of the things you do need to convict somebody is a witness and a murder weapon. And last time I checked, is there some evidence I'm missing, Big Kenny?
I don't think so. And he says that if it were him, but it would have never been him because all he does is talk about the accomplishments of other people. But I think that for all of those that say O.J. is guilty, one of the things because it was, for me, I remember that time. It was a time in America when everybody was transfixed to their televisions. It was the only thing anybody was talking about, no matter where you were, work, at a social function. It was the O.J. trial. And for me, in any other cases of stabbings and just simple stabbings, there are wounds that the assailant suffers as a result of a knife slipping out of a hand, as a result of the frenzied motions of stabbing and people trying to get away. For one man to inflict as much damage as he did on two people without anybody screaming, without him sustaining any wounds in the attack, without him leaving any of his DNA evidence. They found what they said were traces of the blood of the victims, a drop or two in his Bronco, a drop on the carpet in his Brentwood mansion. If you saw the pictures of the crime scene, the area where they were attacked was literally soaked with blood.
So you're saying that O.J. would have had to be Jason Bourne?
He would have had to be Jason Voorhees / Jason Bourne / Mike Myers. All of these people rolled up into one. And I mean, he was a quick guy.
Right.
But
he was old now. I mean, at that point.
Yeah. I mean, but to attack two people, and Ronald Goldman wasn't a little guy.
Right.
He was a formidable sized man. So I don't know. Maybe Stephen A. Smith knows something that we don't, or at least he always talks like he does.
Well, hopefully over the next couple of days watching this series on NBC, ABC and ESPN, we will find some. But I don't know any evidence. Chinway, I'm quite sure you. Go ahead.
Okay, who would this be the equivalent of in today's time? Like, who would be the O.J.? If this, like, why was it such a spectacle? I know why, but, like, who is the equivalent of O.J. in today's time if this were to happen?
Ooh, that's a good question. Good question. If you out there know an answer to that, hit us up. 888-926-7562, 404-603-8770. Which story would be the equivalent of O.J. now? We'll be back with more of the Sports Joc Show right after this.
Enough is enough! I have had it!
Why so serious?
And we hold the world ransom for
Wayne Gandy.
Excuse me while I whip this house.
Show me.
Broadcasting live from the AM 1100 Sports Joc Studios, Atlanta, Georgia.
Welcome to Atlanta.
This is the Sports Joc Show with Wayne Gandy.
You may fill me up, yeah. Can you fill me up, yeah? You won't break me down. I've come too far, yeah. I've come too far, yeah. So just throw in the towel. It's a new day, I'm a do it, yeah. I'm gonna go
Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc Wayne Gandy. Good morning to you, Atlanta, Georgia. We are here every day. You can catch the Sports Joc Show, Sports Joc Studios, AM 1100. We trying to figure out which would be what would be the case of today that equals to O.J. Simpson's case 22 years ago. O.J. series is on ESPN all week. It's a 5-part series, so you can catch it. Hulu and all that other stuff that Chinwe has on her phone that she doesn't even have to turn her television on to watch the world move. Sad news out of Pittsburgh, University of Pittsburgh. One of the researchers contracted the Zika virus. You know, the Zika virus that we're afraid that is, well, not afraid, we know is in Brazil. We're afraid for the athletes that are going to attend it. The person, the lab assistant, messed around and stuck herself with a needle in the research lab and contracted the Zika virus. So she has Zika, first person on record to be in the research lab, and something like this happened to, which is just a bad day at the office. You imagine her going home to tell her husband that? I mean, it's not funny, but it's funny.
Honey, I'm not in the mood. Why not? Because I have Zika. We can't do anything for at least
have actually
6 weeks.
Contracted in a place that's so careful that would happen. I was trying to figure out how is the needle even exposed. Like it's usually a cap or something that they put on to help with this situation. So we have a call on the line. Mike, good morning to you. Yes, Sports Joc. I'm doing good. How are you? I can. Can you think of anything that even comes close to the OJ trial? Mike Vick and the dog fighting incident. Well, thank you, Mike, for calling in. Big Kenny Chinwe. I would say that people 20 years ago cared more about things like that. They had more caring about different individuals. It's not well, they were fans. They were really invested. Now people are kind of just waiting on the next big thing, enjoying this thing today, but they're not as fanatical as they used to be. And this really, for some reason, spoke to a lot of people. I don't know whether it was just because of O.J. being such a huge name for so long, whether it was because O.J. was black and these two individuals was white, or whether it was just blacks finally figuring or feeling like we have gotten at least somebody off, because in our mind, we have had a lot of wrongful people incarcerated and killed and beaten. The Rodney King thing had just happened a little sooner than that as well. But it was a national story, and it was kind of the first media blitz where it was all day, every day.
It definitely was. We talk about that in our journalism classes, how that was like the beginning of so much as far as TV goes, reality TV, and just things being sensationalized, like Casey Anthony in the later years, and just TV, just stories being run all day long, and just the courtroom, inside the courtroom, that was like the first time that you really saw that. Michael Jackson, all those things like that. It sparked all of these later incidents.
Big Ken, let me ask you this. Would you put Ray Rice? The Ray Rice thing is not far off as far as the scrutiny.
I wouldn't put Ray Rice in that category. I think part of what made the O.J. case so sensational is who O.J. was perceived to be before the murders. O.J. was an untouchable, iconic figure that the world loved. Everybody loved O.J. Men, women, children, the elderly, pets, worldwide. Everybody loved O.J. And then he did something that was so counter to who we knew him as. It made everybody stop to take a second look at not only O.J., but the people around them. The only thing that I could see now that even garners that kind of attention is a case like the Trayvon Martin case, a case like the Mike Brown case. When you see Freddie Gray, when you see people who are supposed to be protecting you, the police, committing horrific acts where people end up dying and they're being charged with murder and assault, then that gets some sensationalism. But still, these police aren't celebrities.
Well, that's when let's move. Tiger Woods. The Tiger Woods
Yeah, that
saga.
was a big deal.
I mean, we're talking about when you said a person who publicly people saw as one thing, and for something that is a general thing that happens in relationships. It's not like cheating, it wasn't a general thing, but I think because it was Tiger, and America had this image, seeing Tiger more as the president in a sense, that he doesn't, cheating and the type of women they showed that Tiger was conversating with and that kind of stuff threw people in a total loop to where you're talking about Tiger Woods lost endorsements for basically cheating on his wife. His wife attacked the car. Tiger didn't do anything to her. How do you lose endorsements and money with a company based on that? Me and my wife had a dispute. She hit my car with a golf club, and then we get a divorce. Nobody has ever been, players get divorces all the time.
Well, I think part of, with Tiger Woods, the difference was that women were appalled and advertisers were upset. I think most men who were fans of Tigers looked at him and was like, I was about to say, what's the use of being that famous if you're not running around with at least 4 or 5 different
But he had
chicks?
a lot of women,
Right.
a lot of men that were jumping on him, trying to kill him. We knew he was that kind of guy. The caddy wanted to throw him under the bus. Everybody went to hating on Tiger. And I thought, and I'm only saying that because we're talking about over cheating. It wasn't no murder, wasn't no kidnapping. He didn't even abuse his wife. It was him doing something that a lot of men do in marriages, and he wasn't even the person that attacked the car.
Well, it's a lot easier. Well, I think like Vic Kinney said, you have this image painted of someone, when I thought Tiger Woods, I think, oh, quiet, nice guy. He just plays golf and minds his business. But then it's like when this happened, it's like, who is this person almost? You know what I mean? Like, maybe some people looked up to him, or they just thought that he was above, all the other typical things that, quote, athletes do, unquote. And, it's just disappointing, I guess.
I think Ray Rice was disappointing because unlike a Tiger Woods, all of Tiger Woods' situations were alleged.
Mm-hmm.
The alleged, the reported. Ray Rice, we saw with our own 2 eyes that he was guilty of domestic violence against his wife. Not just domestic violence in that she showed up with injuries. We watched her get knocked out on film. And in the immediate aftermath, he seemed to have no remorse.
Correct.
It was like that was something they went through regularly. So, but
what we do at home is spilled over
Right.
to the public.
But by the time the Ray Rice thing came to light, we've been so desensitized. It's like the guy Mike who called in said, the OJ was the first chance we had to see news 24 hours a day.
Mm-hmm.
The first time we had a chance to see a court case play out live on television. Before that, they didn't really allow cameras into a courtroom, especially for murder trials. But this made it possible. And
here's the tough question, Big Kenny, Chinwei. Do you think OJ did it?
I think he may have been framed.
Frame job.
Because I'm reading and it said that, okay, there was a glove at the crime scene, the glove found at his house. There was a drop of blood in his sink, and then a drop of blood in the Bronco. And then Big Kenny was saying, well, and then I looked at the pictures, it was very sloppy. You know, it was out of anger, clearly. But I can't tell, I don't know, if he was acquitted, I don't know what to say.
Big Kenny?
I think it was framed.
I find it hard to put the pieces together to definitively say he did it.
And
maybe he knew something about it, but I don't think he physically murdered them.
I don't think he physically murdered them either.
But
I
it
never
is
thought
odd that he was at a hotel room and not at his home.
That
was odd.
I do believe that he could tell you who did it, but I don't think that he did it. We'll be back. More of the Sports Joc Show. Todd Harris coming up. Major League Baseball. Let's see who got suspended this week for PEDs.
You have been given full access to the Players Lounge on the Sports Joc Show with Wayne Gandy.
Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc, Wayne Gandy. Do you think OJ did it? It's been a story that I've been going around for 22 years. I guess we have to wait. Maybe OJ wrote it down in his will, or maybe he at some point will have a tell-all, and somebody like Barbara Walters, Diane Sawyer will come out, and maybe, we forgot the whole Chris, Caitlyn, Bruce Jenner thing. And how it's been covered. It's not a bad option as something that has just was hammered into our consciousness, even though we didn't want it to be. It was just consistently displayed in front of us. So that could be a candidate. But we wanted to talk a little Major League Baseball. And, when we do that here on the Sports Joc Show, we reach out to Dodger scout, East Cobb coach, our man Todd Harris. Good morning to you, Todd. Oh, man, it's going great. OJ, who guilty or not guilty? You think he went all Michael Myers, as Big Kenny said? Oh, jealousy. Okay. I thought it was because Ron Goldman was driving his Lamborghini that he left over there.
So he driving two of your favorite girls.
Todd, I wanted to get you on to talk about how baseball is handling all these. It's been some big dust-ups between teams fighting. Major League Baseball has it now. College baseball has it down in Miami, with Miami playing Boston College. I don't know if you saw this. One of the Miami Hurricane players hit a grand slam in the game the other night. And when coming around to score, he flipped his bat as he ran down the first base line. If you're looking at the Sports Joc page, just hold on. In 1 second, you will see him flip his bat. The Boston College players took offense to flipping the bat. He gave it a little Ricky Henderson. And I was wondering, is there an unwritten code? Because for an observer like that doesn't play baseball, it wasn't all that popping collar. He held the bat. Once he saw the ball go over the fence, he flipped it right here. If you're looking at the page, he's watching. This is a grand slam now. This is not this, and then he flips the ball back like that, and that was it. After he gets back around, the Boston College dugout runs over and took offense to this motion right here. I mean, for most of us, it just looks like he's throwing the bat to the bat boy. But explain us, take us through what's the etiquette, and did Boston College overreact? And I must say, Todd, I'm on your side with this. I'm not a big celebration guy either. I believe that, especially when it's something routine, I always hammer people. If you just dive over the pile and stick the ball out and it's a touchdown, that's not a dance. But when you hit a grand slam, and I played baseball up until high school, and that is a dream of especially a hitter, that he finds himself with the bases loaded, and he unloads one over the fence. Now, I've seen worse acts of celebration for just catching a fly ball. He hit a grand slam, throw the bat kind of to the side, and a fight breaks out. And I do agree with you. Something has to get people back to watching baseball, because even though they make huge salaries, it seems to be a dwindling sport. Right, right.
And Todd, to continue along that line, when did athletes get so thin-skinned where if you beat me, that's an offense? If you score a touchdown and dance, now I'm offended. If you hit a grand slam, like you said, if you stop me, then I won't be able to celebrate. What happened to every man doing his job?
Women. Oh, I thought you was asking me. You asking Todd?
You
Go ahead on, Todd. I'm sorry. Well, you're looking at the draft. One last question before we go. The draft happened last weekend, and we've talked about this before. Why hasn't Major League Baseball created a spectacle around their draft, a la NFL, a la NBA? Why is it just it comes and goes? Because to me, the spectacle of a draft actually draws people to watch and get to learn some of the names of the up-and-coming players. Well, thank you, Todd, for calling in and helping us out. And we'll be reaching out to you soon with Major League Baseball heading into the All-Star break. Our man Todd Harris, Major League Baseball scout for the Dodgers. Big Kenny, Chinway, I'm telling you this now. And the Sports Joc is not a braggadocious person at all. But if I hit a grand slam, I would have ran all the bases with the bat in my hand. I mean, I just I wouldn't even flipped it. I just ran. I don't even know if you can do that.
I would have ran all the bases with the bat in my hand, pointing at the other team, going, "Your mother raised a loser. Your mother raised a loser."
Everything doesn't deserve celebrating, but if you can strike somebody out in the World Series to get the last out for a championship, or any time a player can hit a grand slam, because you might hit that once, twice in your career. I didn't think that was even a bad taunt of the team, but as Big Kenny alluded to, these kids are especially sensitive now. We'll be back. More of the Sports Joc Show right after this.
To listen to us on the go, search for AM 1100 on iHeartRadio or download our app at thesportsjoc.com.
It don't matter that you got not a lot. So what? You'll have theirs and you'll have yours and I'll have mine. And together we'll be fine. 'Cause it takes.
Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc, Wayne Gandy. Different strokes. Didn't two of those kids commit suicide on different strokes? One of them did. And the girl committed suicide, and Todd Bridges tried to commit suicide several times by ODing. Yeah, I mean, let's be honest. I mean, it was different strokes for different folks. And who else died? What was the little short guy name?
Gary Coleman.
He passed away, didn't he?
Yeah, from parental neglect.
But it was a big-time show. Chinway, you ever caught that on TV Land? Different strokes?
I think maybe I watched it once or twice. Is that what you're talking about, Willis? Is that show?
Wow.
Okay.
Yeah. That was actually the working name of the show. What you talking about, Willis?
Willis.
They just thought different strokes went better for the advertising.
One thing I'll tell you before we do the naked news here with Chinway is, Big Kenny, when you got beat, and when I was in college, Coach Dye, you acting out like they did, you got in trouble, as you was alluding to, because that's what they would tell you. You don't want him to do that. Don't get mad now that he don't score this touchdown. Now you want to go there and get
you miss your blocking assignment. Now you all mad.
You want to get a personal foul because he beat you for the sack, and as you get in trouble when you act like that. But we are in the naked news with Chinway. What do you have for us today?
So just a quick update on the Christina Grimmie passing, her story. She was the lead singer of Maroon 5, Adam Levine, has agreed to pay for the funeral services as well as the plane ride for her mom. And also her manager, Brian Tiffy, set up a GoFundMe account for to help her and her family with the funeral and all of that. And the page has raised over $170,000 in just a couple of days. So a lot of people have reached out, and her brother Marcus is very, very heartwarmed and very happy. Well, not happy, but he's touched that everyone is just showing so much support. So that's wonderful. I've been seeing a lot of actresses and singers do tributes to her, and they're really, really missing her. So Thank you, Adam Levine, on your part. I think that's really big. And he signed her to his record label also, so that was one of his artists. Now, Lil Wayne was on his private jet headed to California when he had to make an emergency landing, and he was supposed to be admitted to the hospital because he had a seizure. But he said, no, I'm okay. So then they took off, and then the plane had to stop again because he had another seizure. And this time, he was like, all right, I guess we can go to the hospital this time. This isn't the first time that this has happened. Back in 2012, he had to make emergency plane landings 2 days in a row. That's when Lil Wayne told the world that, actually I've had epileptic seizures my entire life. I don't really remember anything that happens. I get these really bad headaches and I black out and I can never foresee when they're going to happen. And then I just wake up in the hospital. So do you guys think that drinking, all of that scissor or drugs or things like that has a major impact on?
Well, I'm not a pharmacist, and I'm not a street pharmacist like Vic Kenny did when he was 14. But I do know when I listen to Lil Wayne rap, he goes down an extensive list of drugs that just don't sound like they go together, that might give you a seizure. So, Vic Kenny, are you surprised?
No, I'm not surprised. And even though my experience with prescription drugs dates back 25 minutes.
Okay.
I would dare to say that if you are an epileptic and you suffer from epilepsy and epileptic seizures, drinking promethazine recreationally while popping Xanax and different kinds of drugs might complicate that condition.
Just a little bit.
Just a little bit. So I'm just laughing, though, at the, we got to make an emergency landing because he's having a seizure. No, I'm okay. Okay, let's take off. Oh, he had another seizure. Okay, I go to the hospital this time. I mean, why not just go to the hospital?
He didn't want to, I guess.
Right.
I mean, that's all it boils down to.
Young Money. Okay, let's go.
The other night, Neil Patrick Harris, he's from How I Met Your Mother.
Doogie Howser.
That show. He showed up to the Tony Awards bald, and everyone was wondering, why is he bald? Where's his hair? Well, it turns out that he did it for his new role in the show adaptation of the Series of Unfortunate Events book catalog. I used to read those when I was a child. Very intricately written, very interesting. Jim Carrey played the character that Neil Patrick Harris is going to be playing. He's supposed to be Count Olaf, which is the villain in the book. And I don't remember exactly what happens in the book, but maybe he terrorizes the children or something like that. And he has one shaven eyebrow and a tattoo. But Netflix is going to actually be debuting the series sometime this year. Even though they don't have all of the characters yet, they still want to put the series out. So I'm excited to see how whimsical they get with this series, because Netflix gets very in-depth with their shows. And I can't wait for Orange is the New Black also, which comes out later this weekend. So I'm looking forward to seeing that. Foxy Brown was supposed to perform at Summer Jam in NYC, but she didn't. So she performed her new song, Bonds Up, in a club called El Morocco in New York City. And she was about to finish, and she actually fell off the stage.
Do we have any footage of her falling off the stage? Can somebody enlighten me with some of...
There is a video.
Buns up, literally.
And the bad part is that you can hear all of the people in the audience laughing.
That's what tends to happen when you fall.
No, but they're no one said ooh or anything like that.
If Beyonce falls, they go, is she okay? And then when they find out she's okay, then they start to laugh.
No, it was
she
immediately once people realized that she had literally dropped off of the stage, it was like, and then the guys are helping to pick her up, and it's awful because she was at the end of her performance, so that
Well, it
didn't
could have
have
been
to go
worse.
down
It
like
could have
that.
been at the beginning of the performance. She had fallen, so at least she fell at the end. Maybe that's her closer from now on. All right, everybody, throw your hands in the air, and she just falls off the stage.
Now, beginning June 16th to the 23rd, there will be a live auction as well as an online auction for the late Joan Rivers and her valuables. It will take place at the Rockefeller Plaza in New York City. And some of the items listed include $200,000 brooches. She has a silk dog house. I didn't know those existed. Chanel clutches, Cartier wristwatches, as well as other little trinkets. There's like some little jeweled leaf thing that was listed for $300,000. So if you're interested in any of Joan Rivers' collectibles, then you can head over to the website and look at them, or you can go to Rockefeller Plaza and bid yourself.
They don't have anything up for auction that says "World's Greatest Mom" or anything like that, because I mean, come on, Melissa Rivers, you're just going to let these people auction off Joan's stuff.
I was wondering that too.
It's your mother, and these are the things that I would imagine were important to her.
I would keep some of the. I'm sure she's keeping some of the jewelry, but it seems like she had an excessive amount, or
I like to buy the mold of her face. I know they got the mold somewhere.
Because it's still plastic.
It's still
plastic.
Gabby Douglas will be returning to the Olympics this year, and she recently announced her new set of emojis, of course. So now
I thought you was going to say something else.
No. So now we've got Kim Kardashian, Black China, Amber Rose, Stephen Curry, and now we can add Gabby Douglas to the list. But Gabby Douglas emojis are very inspirational. It's got her one on a balance beam, and then one that says, things like, you're a champion, and you can do it, and today is better than yesterday, and things like that. So, and I realized when I was reading this story that I haven't seen Gabby Douglas literally since the 2012 Olympics. Like, I haven't.
She's been in the lab making these emojis.
Now, I don't understand why I need to buy an emoji of you.
I don't know why I need to buy a $1.99 emoji either to better communicate with the people that I've been communicating with before.
With the free emojis.
Right.
Yes.
Well, I would love to see Foxy Brown fall off this stage if y'all can find the ill fall. What?
The ill nana.
The ill nana.
Fox.
We'll be back more of the Sports Joc Show. That was the Naked News with our girl Chinwei right after this. Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc Wayne Gandy. An Ohio jury has found 28-year-old Franklin Conley guilty of trying to extort money between $65,000 and $175,000. Franklin Conley was trying to extort from former Ohio State tailback and former running back for the Cardinals, Christopher Beanie Wells. I don't know if you remember Beanie Wells, had a short NFL career. He was one of those backs that I told you dominated in college but couldn't do much on the pro level. Beanie's brother, who has set up a drug deal with Mr. Franklin Conley and lost the money, went after Beanie and tried to extort money and threaten his family for something that his brother actually did. So Franklin Conley is facing sentencing over that. Up in Chicago, well, in Milwaukee, a sad note. 41-year-old B-Rob, Brian Robinson, guy that I played with back in the Rams days, early in my career, 14 years in the NFL. B-Rob was found dead at a motel in Milwaukee. A lot of allegations coming out. Some of the police reports say that in the hotel room there was marijuana, there were poppers, and there was Crown Royal and some lube. Story goes that on Saturday, Robinson checked into the Milwaukee motel about 9 a.m. The hotel employees say that he frequently checked in at the hotel. He usually checked out about 6 p.m. When he did not check out, they got worried. About 10 o'clock, they went, checked the room. He was face down in the room from what I'm reading. And this is allegedly from what we are reading here from the Sports Joc Show. Nothing definite that I have seen. Maybe Chinway sees some more current news, is that it was something to do with asphyxiation, maybe heart attack. Poppers, from what I researched, are something that helps you relax for sex. Homosexual sex for men is something that they use in situations. So from right now, a sketchy outline seems that maybe Brian Robinson, who is married, met up with a young man because the hotel employee said that he did check in with a slender male with dreads, and that gentleman left a couple of hours before. They went and checked into the room, and so between the lube, the alcohol, the drugs, the poppers, sounds like maybe something went down in the room, but we're not going to speculate further than that, Big Kenny.
Well, if Todd can say that OJ, through a preponderance of common sense and the evidence that was available, is a double murder, then I kind of think that maybe we can assume that this dude had checked in for sex with this guy. And they also found petechial hemorrhaging, which is when there are blood spots on the eyeball, and that usually comes from asphyxiation, like being strangled or being suffocated by an outside force. It's not like you stop breathing or you have a heart attack. This is usually something or someone manually stops your breathing. So whatever happened, I think it's interesting that this gentleman left a couple of hours before his body was discovered, and there's no talk about finding him and pressing charges. They say there didn't seem to be any trauma to his body. I think it's interesting that this is a place that he's known to frequent, from what it sounds like, daily, or at least weekly, where he checks into this motel. And most motels don't have 12-hour.
Well, it's
rentals.
a motel now.
Right, it's a motel. Right, yeah. Some motels, I guess, depending on
hotels don't. Motels will.
Depending on what you're there for. There's some places in New York that rent by the hour.
Right.
So, I think it's a sad situation, but you never know exactly what's going on with somebody.
Wouldn't there? I assume there would be like lacerations on his neck or something like that. But maybe they just haven't mentioned it yet. If it was asphyxiation, but there aren't any other updates on the story except that he had a roll, what's it called, toilet paper roll in his arm. So like crushed in between his arm. That's it. But he's pretty up to date.
And we're talking about a defensive tackle. When I played with him, I mean, he's at least 6'5", maybe like 290. I don't know how much weight he might have lost, but he was a D tackle, 290, 300 pounds, and kind of edgy guy out of Fresno. I want to say he's from the WAC conference. I don't think he was drafted. This was 97, maybe 98. We played for a year with the Rams. He was a tough, kind of hard-nosed player, played a long time. And when I see the poppers and the lube, people, I got a million texts. Oh, you didn't? I'm like, man, I don't know what people do when they leave these facilities. I don't know why you'll think we know everybody's sexual appetite, and people change over time. So he was married. His wife said that she spoke to him that morning. Not everything seems to be fine. They have contacted her a little later that day. So it was nothing as far as he went missing or anything. She had just seen him that Saturday morning. But at 41 years old, D tackle Brian Robinson, dead, Milwaukee Hotel. Out in Seattle, former slam dunk champion Nate Robinson. You might remember little Nate. He's about 5'9". He won the dunk contest 3 times. Played about 10 years in the NBA. He's 32, 33 years old. He had a tryout, Big Kenny Chinway, for the Seattle Seahawks. He was a high school cornerback. He played ball overseas last year, just leaving the NBA. I would say maybe last year was the first time he wasn't in the NBA during his career. And now he thinks that he can pick up where he left off in high school as a cornerback. And he says he picks up things quickly, is what he says.
Like his helmet after it gets knocked off in a game.
32
Oh,
years
Nate
old.
Robinson is down. He looks injured. Like the medical team is on the field. They're bringing out a stretcher.
He said, I need to get a little stronger, a little faster. That's what he told ESPN in April. But he's 32. Is that not too old in football years?
It's too old to pick up anything.
to be starting a football career.
It's to start any athletic career to try to actually achieve pro level of it. We saw Michael Jordan step away from basketball to play baseball, and Michael Jordan was a good high school baseball player, just like Nate Robinson was a good high school football player. He's from the university, went to college on a football scholarship at first, University of Washington, then decided to play basketball full time. At this age, I don't think he can probably make a arena football team, but trying to play and guard and talking about getting faster at 32, that's when you start getting slower. It's just interesting. Maybe it was always on his heart.
What's his position?
Cornerback.
He said the biggest challenge is probably all the haters. Everybody counting me out, somebody not really giving me the opportunity.
All the haters like Father Time, Mother Nature. They both hating on me. They don't want to see me be great.
I'm not. It would be anybody. Whoever. Calvin Johnson, Megatron. He just retired from the NFL. If he went on record talking about he was going to play in the NBA, you would say the same thing. If you spent the last 10, 11 years only doing this sport as a pro, why would you think that you can come and beat out people that's all they've been doing since then? I mean, you're talking about you haven't played football since high school. So I don't know if it's hater or people just being realistic. I mean, I will never run a 9.500 meter. I will never make the finals of a track meet.
And you haven't played football since high school, and now you're 32 years old. So that's been I haven't done math since high school, and I struggle with addition and subtraction right now. So Nate, I mean, you had a really nice NBA career.
Yes, he did for his size.
You won a slam dunk contest. Three
of them.
Which you should have never been able to do. How long did he play in the NBA?
I want to say it's been 11 years he played.
And you got enough
or at least
money
10.
to sit at home and relax, man. Just chill out. Find something else to do. I think what happens with a lot of these athletes, though, is their careers end when they're still young people. 32 is very young, and now you're looking for your second act in life. You might take chances. You might think that you can do things that you otherwise couldn't do. I mean, this is a guy that won the slam dunk contest at 5'8". So,
and you would think he would really just focus on maybe getting back in the NBA if he's going to continue his something you already know how to do.
Training
seems like it would be easier to do.
At least the muscle memory's there
in the twilight. But talking about guarding Julio Jones on a fly route, I'm gonna take Julio. If I'm taking Julio against the best already, what am I going to do with Nate Robinson and playing cornerback? But
your feelings hurt.
It makes good news. Good luck, Nate. We'll be back with more of the Sports Joc Show right after this.
Did you miss some of the show this morning? Watch and listen on demand anytime at thesportsjoc.com.
Enough is enough! I have had it!
Why so serious?
And we hold the world ransom for
Wayne Gandy.
Excuse me while I whip this house.
Show me the
Broadcasting live from the AM 1100 Sports Joc Studios, Atlanta, Georgia.
Welcome to Atlanta.
This is the Sports Joc Show with Wayne Gandy.
You may fill me up, yeah. Can you fill me up, yeah? Show won't break me down now. to just throw in the towel. It's a new day, I'ma do it. Yeah, I'm gonna go all the way. You may build me up.
Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc Wayne Gandy. Glad to be here. Get up. Do something great today. It's been hot here in Atlanta. Hot. That walk out the side and just start sweating type hot before you even move. Kind of heat. It's been kind of chill in Atlanta the last couple of years, but this is definitely going back to the old hot Atlanta. That's how it got its name, Big Kenny Chinway. The heat is upon us. Keep your dogs, your cows, and all that stuff in the shade. Drink plenty of water. Stay away from caffeinated drinks, carbonated drinks. What else can we advise them not to do in the heat?
Don't drink too much lean. Don't take too many Xanax back to back.
Wear clothes that fit, please.
What does that have to do with heat?
Because when it's hot outside, people think that just gives everyone free reign to wear crop tops or Daisy Dukes or no
Look
bras.
like girl with the Daisy Dukes on.
All that stuff.
You remember that
just
song?
because it's yes, I do. Just because it's summertime doesn't mean that you just let it all hang out.
No?
No.
Oh, okay.
No.
They don't do that in Britain?
No.
Speaking of hanging it all out, Hulk Hogan won his case against Gawker. Gawker has now filed for bankruptcy.
Ooh.
Big Kenny, Chinway, they filed Chapter 11. They owe Hulk $140 million. If I remember the case correctly, Hulk Hogan slept with one of his friend's wives, and somebody videotaped it, and Gawker put it out there. Am I telling that story correctly?
Yeah, that's pretty much how it happened, brother. The Hulkster got down and dirty with the friend of a wife of a friend. And then somebody videotaped it, brother, and you saw the 18-inch pythons at work, brother. Yes, you did. And then they put it online on Gawker.com. And what happened, brother, is the pythons weren't so 18-inch, brother. And I was embarrassed, brother. That's what happened. And so I sued for $100 million, and I won. And I shut the website down.
Did either one of you see this
no.
Hulk Hogan
I
video?
couldn't find it because I would have watched it.
You
I would have watched it. I mean, because he's the Hulkster.
Could you
He's the
imagine
Hulkster.
what he says? Like,
You want to see if you can put that big leg drop on him.
oh,
That was his finishing move.
That was his finishing
That's
move.
his finishing
He
move.
rip his shirt off. Yeah, come on, brother.
He hit you with it, and then he dropped the big leg on you.
Drop.
You don't remember him?
gross.
I think it was just a regular size leg drop. Sports Joc. I think that's what part of the problem is. His leg wasn't that big.
Well, Gawker is selling themselves to Ziff Davis, which they own a couple of those websites that show these kind of stuff before they basically trying not to pay Hulkster his money. I've never been on Gawker to see anything because I'm not a big social media head. But Hulk Hogan winning that case has really set them back. $140 million for any kind of company is a major hit, to say the least. But I thought that if Hulk was in the right, not to sleep with his friend's wife, but for someone to be filming it and putting out is we saw Erin Andrews, the reporter, win her case a couple of months ago from the Peeping Tom, the guy that videotaped her through the, was it keyhole or the key?
The peephole.
The peephole.
Yeah. I mean, this dude.
That is real Peeping Tom.
I mean, but he should have got some money from some sort of do-it-yourself type of home improvement channel or something, because who knew that you could reverse engineer a peephole that it would show the person on the opposite end magnified instead of all blurry. So
basically he should have been working on that and selling that.
Yeah, he should have been working on the
patent.
technology for something other than that. This is my thing about Hulk Hogan and Gawker. From what I had learned following the case. I believe that the woman he slept with was the wife of the owner of Gawker.
Oh, okay.
But or it was a friend of his who was a radio personality, and Hulk was aware of the fact that he was being recorded, is what they said. Is he had his friend alleges that they had talked about it for a number of times, which Hulk Hogan admits that it wasn't the first time his friend asked him to sleep with his wife, but he knew that they were going to be recorded. And so the fact that it was being recorded and you knew it, I don't think that you should have any reservations about where it shows up. I guess maybe you thought it was just going to be for a private viewing, but
if he had gotten strong reviews from social media about him putting his 12 play down,
right?
Do you think that he would have sued, or would he had like?
He would probably capitalize like Ray J and Kim Kardashian did. Now they're very relevant celebrities, especially Kim Kardashian, and all she did was make a sex tape.
Right. Did you any one of y'all check that one out?
No.
No, didn't see that.
No,
one.
thank you.
How do you find that stuff? You like just Google Kim Kardashian?
I'm sure you could just Google it and it'll pop up.
Okay.
I'm quite sure.
So why would I? So Gawker is just like a Gossip or Yahoo?
Right.
Yeah,
or...
Gawker is where you can go and see only that kind of stuff.
Oh,
like you can go
okay.
to another website, like a news website, and you'll see sports, you'll see news, you'll see international affairs, you'll see Hulk Hogan puts the smack down on best friend's wife, and then some other stuff. You go to Gawker, and it's all somebody putting the smack down on somebody.
Oh, okay. It's laid out for you.
Right.
That's all they put out.
That's all.
It's kind of like the National Enquirer of internet.
Smart.
Right.
Right.
Just
Tabloid.
True or not true?
Don't make no difference.
Gotcha.
Don't make no difference. All we wanted people to log on. Click the link. Click the link.
Johnny Manziel can't help himself. Everybody wants to grab a story. He is one of in the last 2 years, most followed personalities in sports. For a man that has had no success in pro ball, Cleveland let him go earlier this year. He was served court papers after leaving L.A. hotspot The Nice Guy. The court person was outside waiting on Johnny. I'm quite sure he probably saw him on somebody's, Snapchat, and was like, just got in his car and drove up there and handed him his court filings, leaving the club. This centers around the case in Texas of the girl alleging that Johnny Manziel hit her, and I think she said hit her so hard she lost hearing.
Huh?
In one of her ears, like Halle Berry.
What happened?
Wasn't that Wesley Snipes that slapped Christopher Williams?
Who
slapped Halle that she lost her hearing?
Who didn't slap Halle and she lost her hearing? It was one of those dudes slapped her and
But Johnny Manziel, I'm quite sure he sobered up quick when the guy standing there to hand him papers, right?
Well, I can imagine who goes to one club so much that the server thinks, I'll just wait till he's leaving the club and hand him the papers. That's really? Are you that predictable?
You think he had some kind of club deal with them? Like,
I don't know. The Nice Guy's a really popular spot in L.A., but I just don't. No place for me is popular enough to just go night after night after night.
He was there every day.
Pretty much.
Pretty much.
Every time you see him leaving a club, it's the Nice Guy.
Well, that's what I'm saying. Maybe he has somewhere he knows he can drink and get him a booth for free.
True.
Something like that. Other places, even though he has a little name, he would have to come out his pocket. And
I'm sure that there may be someone inside the club who knows process servers and is like, hey, man, he's here. Come on by. I mean,
just set him up.
Yeah, everybody's got to hustle.
Johnny Manziel, can you see him back in the NFL this year?
No.
Poor child.
I don't
think
think
shot at all.
I don't think that the NFL was really Johnny Manziel's goal. I think he just wanted to be the biggest Johnny Manziel he could be. Mm-hmm. And in whatever way he could achieve that is what he was willing to do. There's a show coming on now, Building the Dream or something like that, with Tim Tebow as the host. and they're building homes for people and giving them away for free or something. And,
So Johnny was in it for the fame,
I
not the fortune.
I believe the
Not
NFL
the
was just an
legacy.
eventuality.
Just the fame.
I was really good in college. They drafted me, so I'm going to go to the next level.
And my fame is all I ever need.
All I ever need. I mean, because I obviously don't have the work ethic to stay in the NFL.
Right.
I don't have the desire to put forth all of the training and discipline that's needed to be a champion. So, but I stay in the public eye.
Always.
Chinway, Johnny Manziel is your age.
Right.
I mean, so it seems like he's older because we say his name, but Johnny Manziel is like 24 years old. You think he'll get back in the league?
He's got too much going on. I just, when I see him and I think about, he spent a lot of time with Drake and, he was always out and about, always into something other than, just not doing anything. You know what I mean? Like sometimes you just have to kind of chill. And to me, I don't know him personally, but I just feel like his mind is just in a million different places. And I feel like he's really young. He's 23. There's a lot of hype surrounding him, and he hyped himself up, and others around him hyped him up, and he was around celebrities, and he got caught up a little bit.
And you see him everywhere, but except the combines or the
Right.
workouts. He's never anywhere training.
Come on, Johnny, get back on the field, man. We need some more turnovers. You make for good story time during football season. Johnny Manziel having a rough time, court papers served. Might want to stay away from the nice guys. Go to the Ugly Woman. It's right down the block. Go down there to that club, the Ugly Woman, and get your next drink. We'll be back with more of the Sports Joc Show right after this.
The Sports Joc Morning Show is now Atlanta's AM 1100, weekdays 8 a.m. to noon. Also watch us live on YouTube and thesportsjoc.com.
And now, back to the Sports Joc, Wayne Gandy.
Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc, Wayne Gandy. Stanford University out in California has been in the news regularly over the last couple of weeks. Sexual assault case involving 20-year-old Brock Turner. Turner is only serving basically 120 days for sexually assaulting a unconscious woman after a party. Is that correct over there, Chinway?
Yes. She had been drinking, and so she wound up behind the dumpster, and two passerbys, I think they were on bikes, saw this guy on top of her, and they saw the girl not moving, not responding, so that's when they went and they tackled him, and then they called the authorities.
Well, it's been outrage all over the place, from Hollywood stars to the vice president of our United States, Big Kennedy, Joe Biden, of basically not just Brock Turner, the college student, but also the judge in this case and how they feel the leniency of the sentence for sexual assault of a female that Brock, like Chinway said, unconscious behind the dumpster. Was there any knowledge of them two knowing each other?
No, I don't think they knew each other.
She is a student.
No, she wasn't a student. Her little sister was a student.
Okay.
She was going with her sister to the party to accompany her. That's what happened.
And she was drinking.
Right.
And where was the sister at this time? Did the case say?
She was in the party as well. I think they got separated for a few minutes, and then her sister was looking for her.
How did she end up outside?
I don't know. I guess they walked outside. I guess she walked outside, and she just Doesn't remember.
From what I've been following, he found her
Oh, really?
lying next to the dumpster.
Okay.
Correct.
And then decided, hey, this looks like it might be fun, and went about sexually assaulting her. Now, there's a lot going on when you're so drunk that you're passed out by a dumpster, but there's a whole lot more going on when you see that and think to yourself, this is my shot.
And that's why I was saying, did he know her for
No.
it to be something where he just rolled up on her and they had a former fling? Was he intoxicated?
Yes.
Yeah, he was
Okay.
intoxicated.
Have they had any kind of test to see was she just on alcohol? Because that's to be completely knocked out standing outside.
She may have just had alcohol poisoning. I didn't see any other reports about anything else in her system other than that.
Now they've painted him, especially the people who, as when I said his name this morning to Chinwe, tell the people what you had to say about Mr. Turner.
I said I was disgusted with him and his family. I'm even more disgusted with his family, I think, than I am of Brock. Just because his mother and his family have written letters to the judge begging for leniency, even though he only got a 6-month sentence, and he only actually has to serve 3 months of those 6 months. And then they're like, oh, he's supposed to be an Olympic medalist. He's not this person. And now I think even the ex-girlfriend has spoken out saying that he's not this person. And the father said that was a tough punishment for only 20 minutes of action. So.
Well, the mother sounds like just what moms do.
I mean, I guess.
I don't know.
I'm just saying, doesn't the
At a
mother?
certain point, it stops, though.
Doesn't the mother try to find if she thinks and knows a different person that did that act? I mean, if she he always knew, if she knew he was going to always kind of be this guy, maybe then yes. But if she only knows the Brock Turner in which he shows her, then isn't that who she's pleading for? Because parents don't know, they teenagers. They have a vision of what they want their teenager to be. But teenagers, as we know, especially college students, present a whole picture. Mama and daddy do not know about that girl and the 12 guys from the football team. They don't know, and they sit, and the women hide that. They hold that. So can't Brock be pulling the wool over his parents' eyes as well?
You don't think that parents have an inkling, though? You don't think that parents know something? Or, just knowing your child. I feel like I'm not a parent, so I'm just based off of, what I've been told. You know what your child may not necessarily be capable of, but that they may have inclinations to do certain things. I don't think that it was random.
I think the parent has an idea of that person 1 to 18. That person that leaves until something is shown, they don't have necessarily all the factors of how their kid is and what their kid is doing to that degree. I just don't, it's not a day-to-day oversee job anymore, and I'm quite sure most parents would be very surprised of who, what, how, when their kid has acted up. So I'm not justifying Brock. I'm just saying with the mother and maybe the last girlfriend, as you said, none of these factors were ever shown. Kind of how we spoke about Tiger Woods a little earlier. The world didn't see this side of Tiger. His wife probably didn't know either. Maybe his deceased father knew because that was more of his confidant. But he had a whole world never seeing Tiger with the tattoo bombshell. They always saw him with the Swedish blonde. So I'm not saying that Brock is not a disgusting individual. I'm like Big Kenny. I don't know how a limp, motionless woman next to a dumpster resonates to sex at all.
Well, I also think that when it comes to the parental side of it, I'm the textbook case of if my mother knew me outside of the home, she'd probably be really, really shocked. But my mother always stressed personal responsibility. Now, whoever you became once you left our house, I was raised right. I just decided to do a lot of wrong stuff. But in doing that, your having been raised right gives you the knowledge between right and wrong. You knew what you were doing. You made a conscious decision to do this. And then the severity of the crime. It's not like you were drinking and driving and got a DUI. It's not like you got into a fight and in the course of defending yourself knocked somebody out. You found a girl unconscious by a dumpster and thought you'd have sex with her. Right. And some things you just can't support your kids in.
Now, the dad saying that is very disgusting, but I know that, remember that case here in Atlanta maybe 3-4 years ago? To me, a disgusting parent is that lady. I think her daughter was like a senior in college. The daughter hit a car, killed like 3 people in the car. The girl drove off and went home, and the mom helped her get
Easter
the car
Sunday,
get the
on
car
Easter
fixed.
Sunday, the girl was smoking weed, riding in a BMW, crossed the median, and struck a family, killing the family. I believe the baby that was in the back seat was severed in 2.
I think only one person survived. It was like 5-6 people in the car, right?
And the young lady drove home, and her mother hid her and the evidence in the car and had prepared to have the car repaired inside the garage when the repair people noticed and was like, this seems to be, and it had been all over the news, and they both got lengthy jail sentences.
Yeah, I think the daughter got like 20 years, and they gave the mom like 7
or 8 years.
So both of them are in prison. So in that case, disgusting all around. I think that I just give a little leeway that who her son might have became, she might not know. So all she knows is my little Brock. The daddy saying 20 minutes or whatever that ignorant stuff he just said about 20 minutes in time. I don't know. Raping somebody in your thoughts is wrong. Forget actually time doing it. In your thoughts of rape, you're wrong. So I'm quite sure this case will stay around for a while with a prestigious university at Stanford and some of the heavyweight people in the political world that went there. But we'll be back. More of the Sports Joc Show. Sports Joc Studios, AM 1100, right after this break.
To listen to us on the go, search for AM 1100 on iHeartRadio or download our app at thesportsjoc.com.
Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc, Wayne Gandy. Bo Jackson, the greatest Auburn Tiger ever. His name is synonymous with the university I attended back in the day. Bo Jackson, one of the biggest stars we've ever had in sports. Bo Knows campaign was the actual movement for about a year. Bo was a multi-talented baseball and football player. He went on record the other day, Big Kenny Chimway, Brock Lesnar, the MMA and WWE wrestler, fighter, cage guy.
That's on your resume. Wrestler, fighter, cage guy.
Was using an analogy that he was the Bo Jackson of his industry. And Bo had this to say about Mr. Lesnar.
Brock Lesnar said he's you, pretty much. Brock Lesnar is calling himself the Bo Jackson. What do you feel about that?
I don't even know who Brock Lesnar is, man.
Brock Lesnar, 265 UFC fighter coming back. No clue, huh?
I don't watch that.
Not on your radar?
I don't watch that. No, not on my radar. If I didn't make money in it, I don't know nothing about it.
Yikes.
Bo Jackson said if he ain't made no money in it, he don't know much about it. Bo is a to-the-point kind of person. And people are surprised that Bo Jackson doesn't know who Brock Lesnar is. Most people don't know who Brock Lesnar.
I only know because my little brother watches wrestling and he's obsessed with it, so I'm familiar with the name. But other than that,
is it surprising that Bo Jackson wouldn't know? Bo Jackson grew up watching the Junkyard Dog.
Brock Lesnar isn't Erica Kane's love interest on All My Children. That's not Brock Lesnar.
I don't think so.
Okay.
You saying the character? Well, you know, she slept with like 900
Yeah, I'm
guys.
saying I thought he was from a soap opera, but I mean, you know, I imagine if you're Bo Jackson, who do you get excited to follow in sports?
Of today's modern athlete?
Of any era. I mean, you know, Bo Jackson moved sports forward in a way that not many people had before him or since. We can count the number of two-sport successful athletes. I know there was Deion Sanders, there's Bo Jackson, there is who else? Baseball and football.
Brian Jordan.
Jordan.
He played for the Hawks, the Braves and the Falcons. I would say that's about it. It's not a lot. You probably have a handful.
Not a lot.
Of
I mean, because when Bo Jackson came along and he was playing two sports, they were having to work out the legality of that. Like, is that even legal? Can you play two sports at the same time?
Right.
Is that something
that's
possible? He was the first to do it.
In two major sports.
So who would you – and then not only did he play the sports, he excelled at both sports. So who would you look up to? And if you were going to follow a sport, would it be the MMA?
Or WWE?
Now, Herschel Walker, I believe, is all into the WWE and MMA.
Because he fights. He's had cage fights and things like that. But Bo Jackson not knowing who Brock Lesnar is, I don't know why that guy laughed in the video. I would think that Bo doesn't follow too much outside of what's going on in his own life. He probably knows famous hunters. He loves to hunt. So either he's playing golf or he's hunting. But you're right, Big Kenny, he was a movement. That's why I know the Bo Knows campaign was something that everybody knew. It was one of those commercials that people look forward to, even the next version of it coming out. And he was one of the pioneers of dictating to teams. He was drafted by the Tampa Bay Bucks, who had the first pick of the draft. He told them, no, if you draft me, I won't play football. People trying to figure out where those first 4 years went in the football world. He got drafted by Tampa Bay. He had already told them that if they drafted him, he would not come play football. Well, whether you play or not, the team that drafts you has your rights up to 4 years. So he went and played baseball for the Royals. When their rights were finally done, he went to play football for the Raiders. Nobody, Chinway, listen to me. There's never been a faster man on a football field than what you're watching. It was 240 pounds, and it ran 4.1. There is no catching. There is no running down. There is none of that. There's a big, huge man that running exceptionally super fast. People that run his speed are Olympians. That's the kind of speed this gentleman had with that kind of size. And as Big Kenny said, he was a guy that I think on the Tecmo Bowl, guys wouldn't let you play with Bo Jackson because the game never let Bo Jackson scored every time. So I remember guys saying, well, we can pick teams, but you can't pick Bo Jackson team because the video game had it so that you couldn't catch Bo Jackson. And that was one of the few things I remember about the game, and that's the kind of player he was in college. And we don't know how great of a pro he would have been. I mean, he had the kind of like in the prime, you know, a running back's first 3-4 years are his best years. His best years are up to about 30, but he was a special pro in both sports to be able to excel and play, but it's gone. Ain't no catching. If you're watching the video, this ain't no fake. It's a ride out. It's down the sideline. It was that fast.
Guys brag about how they almost caught Bo Jackson. Man, I got my hand on his jersey. You saw it. My fingertips got his jersey. I ran him down.
Now, only 7 players who have accomplished the NFL MLB feat since 1970.
Oh, is that correct?
Yes.
Okay.
And who are they? Do you have their
Do you
names?
see the list of
Bo
them?
Jackson, Deion Sanders, the Jordan. I'm trying to find his
Brian
first name.
Jordan.
Brian Jordan, Chad Hutchinson, Henson. What's his first name? I don't see it here. DJ Dozier, Matt Kinzer.
DJ Dozier, I remember that name, and I think Henson was a quarterback and a pitcher, if I remember that correctly. But it's not really been done a lot. Bo lost his career in football to hip surgery.
Drew Henson.
Drew Henson. He lost his hip surgery. He got on a tackle in a game, so we don't really know how great he would have been at that sport. Even went back to play baseball after that. But Bo Jackson, you can't ever say enough about him. People that you just remember and seem like two best running backs people ever consider is Bo Jackson, Herschel Walker. It's always been this debate of collegiately who was the best running back. I would take Bo, Big Kenny.
Herschel was a bad man now.
You gonna take the push-ups and the sit-ups?
Well, I'm saying Herschel won the Heisman Trophy.
Yes.
And I don't know. But Herschel didn't really pan out in the NFL.
Not to what he had. Well, you remember he first went to
the
USFL.
USFL, right.
The New Jersey Generals or something. They had
like
those
that.
fake teams.
Right.
Reggie White, Warren Moon, all of them went to that league because they was passing out Jim Kelly.
Right.
The Buffalo great quarterback. A lot of the big names were taking the money to that new league that was around, I want to say maybe 4 years, and then they went back to the NFL to further their careers. So Herschel was one of those people who went to, I think him and Bo got to play 1 year where it overlapped. He was at Georgia, and Bo Jackson, well, I need to find some footage of that, was at Auburn. I knew it was a lot of running going on back then. But Bo Jackson, Brock Lesnar, we'll try to figure out who Brock Lesnar is. I have an idea of who he is, but I'm not going to sit here and tell you I could pick him out of a crowd of one. We'll be back with more Sports Joc Show right after this.
And now, back to the Sports Joc, Wayne Gandy.
Welcome back to the Sports Joc Show. I'm the Sports Joc Wayne Gandy. The third Grand Slam in tennis, June 27th. Wimbledon will start. Rafael Nadal has already pulled out. Wrist injury, which has plagued him. He's been injury plagued here the last 2-3 years. One of the top players in the world at one point between him and Roger Federer. Now Novak Djokovic has jumped in to dominate just as much as Nadal used to, but injury plague. He had a physical type game. He was a very athletic type tennis player. He get to any kind of ball. I think that's just catching up with his body. That it was all out effort between that and him scratching his butt before every serve was kind of like his trademark. Yeah, if you go see it, he was always he got him a little. Yeah. He always would get him a little out. Like I don't know what that was about. It's not that much itchy booty in the world. But I used to have a coach in college that always got up to the board. Well, I ain't gonna out him like that. He's a good guy. But up in Philly, we were talking about the rape case out in Stamford. Another case, Eagles Nelson Aguilar has been accused of sexual assault at Cheerleaders Gentlemen's Club. The stripper says that he got a little rough in the back. They had made a deal that he would pay her $1,400 for an hour of dances. I guess she's a great dancer in the private room. She wanted all the money up front. He only gave her $800. She left the club, and eventually 4 or 5 hours later, called the police, said that he had sexually assaulted her. Witnesses in the club said that they did not see that. that didn't happen. But, you know, in this society now, you have to answer for any and everything that somebody just goes and speaks about. It was about 3 p.m. that they were at the Gentlemen's Cheerleaders Club, or Cheerleaders Gentlemen's Club in Philly. So this was an afternoon assault from what she's saying, and $1,400 for an hour. That's some good dancing right there. That's that.
You got to be doing the Running Man, the Cabbage Patch.
She had to have choreography.
Be doing the bump.
Put on a monologue.
She bust down the Roger Rabbit at one point.
So this case is pending because they're having to do the investigation. No charges have been filed as of yet, but it's in the news. Just another case, fellas, out there.
What did she do? Go home like, I only got $800. Man, that dude sexually assaulted me.
Revenge. There's a lot of revenge out there. So $1,400, you were trying to get assaulted, I guess. I mean, something has to happen. But she did leave.
I got confused when you said he got a little rough in the back. I was thinking right there in the strip club. I didn't think that was allowed.
He was in there with teammates Connor Barwin and D-tackle Fletcher Cox, who just signed a big deal with the Eagles. That you won't. It's some guys, I always tell you now, it's a couple of guys that get some big checks. You just never know their names. Fletcher Cox is one of those guys, 6 years, $100 million, and you could put him in a lineup with 3 people and nobody would know his name.
3 this time.
Yes, 3 this time. It's 1 with Brock, 3 with Fletcher. But this case is pending. We'll see how this goes. Big Kenny, they got to change the rules, though. They got to
for sexual assault.
No, they have to. To me,
I was gonna say, wait a minute.
You know how they changed the domestic violence policy in certain places where if you call, both parties have to go downtown.
Right.
I think something has to be done. False allegations. There has to be more stricter penalties to hold women accountable. In cases like this, especially, I thought that would be more evident after the Brian Banks case out in California, the former linebacker that the girl accused of raping him his senior year of high school. He couldn't go to college. USC, he was one of the top 2 or 3 linebackers in the country. Went to prison for 4.5, almost 5 years. He gets out. He finds a way to record the girl confessing that he did not do the crime and basically took away his football career. When he did get out, a couple of teams gave him some tryouts. He had one here even with the Falcons for one training camp. And I never heard any kind of jail time that the girl received. I do remember they said they were suing for the money back because she had taken it even far enough to win $600,000, $800,000 from the school district or something like that.
A lawsuit against the school. Well, I'm not suggesting that this lady in Philadelphia is falsifying her allegations, but I am saying that that's where the gray area comes in when you have sexual assault at a strip club while I was paying you for quote unquote dances. Now, the preponderance of evidence is upon the prosecutor, and they have to prove wrongdoing on the part of the defendant. How do you prove that people who because it's all mutual agreement up to a point. And what is that point? In his mind, could it have been likely once I gave you the money, everything goes? Or in her mind, was it you didn't give me enough for you to do whatever? And that's illegal in strip clubs anyway, to have any kind of sex, because then it's not stripping, it becomes prostitution. So,
Well, it says she left the bar and jumped in the car and did not tell management of the alleged sexual assault. Multiple dancers told management that Aguilar did nothing wrong, including a dancer who was in another area in that same room with another Eagles player. So.
And if you've ever been to a strip club and got you could be insulting verbally with one of the dancers. They will put you out. and they physically make sure that everyone knows you're being put out. So it's not like she can. I don't think she'd be able to say, well, I would have reported it, but they wouldn't have done anything. Yeah, they would have done something. And in the strip club, I don't think it matters who you play for. It's just that you violated, so now you got to get up out of here. So we'll see. We'll see. If he did sexually assault her and she's got a case, then he'll have to go to court and be judged as other sexual assault defendants are. But if he didn't, I believe in what you were saying has to at least begin to get discussed. What do we do about a female that brings forth a fake rape allegation? Because in any other, if you lie on the stand, that's perjury. If you lie to get credit or to get some sort of service, that's fraud. So that's got to have some sort of crime attached to it.
We did find a video of Draymond Green leaving the bathroom over at the Coliseum in Oakland that's connected to Oracle Arena. Can we see Draymond? We was looking for Draymond today. No, that's Stephen A. We're looking for Draymond there he is. Big Kenny.
Is everybody videoing
him? Over here.
They found him and taking pictures of Draymond Green out in Oakland and showering him with love. They was chanting MVP for him in the bathroom. As you can see, the restroom. That's a lot of people.
That was a lot of people.
And I know how he feels whenever I go to the restroom. I turn around and there are all these cameras and people are always screaming, MVP, MVP. And I'm like, guys. Just...
I'm glad that he went to the game.
The baseball game.
No. Oh, was this?
No,
this is the basketball game, right?
No, this is at the A's game.
Oh.
Remember, they got the secret tunnel
that goes under. That they snuck in.
Well, I think he went to the basketball
game.
He
went in as another name. He just put on a mustache and went into the basketball game as another guy. Clifford, and what is
Brown?
What is Chris Paul's name in the in that commercial? It's Chris and Clifford Paul.
Cliff Paul, right?
And the only difference is a mustache.
Yeah. So there's Draymond Green and Amon
Brown
Green, his twin brother.
So Draymond getting love. Cleveland and Golden State, Game 6 Thursday night. Remember
Will it end?
No. I'm going to take the King. I think Golden State will win Sunday, Game 7. I think it's an insurmountable. I mean, I'm pulling for Cleveland. I'm pulling for LeBron because I just want to see how the city of Cleveland reacts if the championship comes there. I just know they might just burn down City Hall or something. They've been waiting a long time for a championship, but they have their work cut out for them. Golden State has a lot of motivation. Andrew Bogut not being able to play, the big center who hurt his knee, even though Draymond is coming back, Bogut has caused problems blocking shots and things like that. So hopefully Draymond and everybody is there to play. And because I don't want the game to end like this, Big Kenny, where somebody's out. Because, that's always, well, so-and-so was out. Well, that's part of the game, winning without a superstar, a la Game 3 for the Cavs. Kevin Love out. They still went out and knew they had to win that game. And now the series is interesting and moving forward back to Cleveland. So who are y'all picking?
Cleveland.
Thursday night.
I'm going with Golden State wrapping it up.
Golden State winning championship
Thursday night
on LeBron's court.
On LeBron's court
in Cleveland. Is Ronnie Rose going to be in attendance?
I didn't see Ronnie last night, or at least the network was classy enough not to focus on it.
I was looking forward to. Ain't that something?
Because
both
she's
of us
somewhere.
Was sitting there looking for her to show up.
She's somewhere out there. But they just didn't go, and there's Ronnie again. So I thought that was good on their part.
Maybe she had to just stay back in Cleveland. She couldn't go back on the road.
Because Steph said no more plane tickets.
I heard that.
Stupid.
You should put her foot down. We'll go to break, come back, more of the Sports Joc Show right after this.